If the world is a stage, then the Middle East is where the grand drama continuously unfolds. War, oil, power, and irony constantly collide in a single cosmic movement. And on that stage stands a figure that is not only strong, but also defiant and unshakable. Its name is Iran. Iran may not be the most powerful country in the world, but its ferocity in facing Israel, backed by the United States, proves that Iran is a force to be reckoned with. Amid international pressures and conflicts, Iran continues to fight fiercely on the battlefield, in cyberspace, in the oil markets, through diplomacy and within geopolitics. Its independent defense capabilities, network of proxies, significant support for science and technology, and diplomatic balancing make Iran worthy of being called the most dominant power in the region. Not only strong, Iran is also remarkably bold, refusing to be dictated by anyone, including powerful nations like the United States. This stance is deeply rooted in Iran's extraordinary history. Iran is the heir of thousands of years of Persian civilization, transforming into a modern power full of contradictions. A theocratic yet industrial nation, a military player and a driver of science, a people oppressed by sanctions yet rising to challenge the world. Many label Iran as a radical state, a rebel, or even a global threat. Yet many also see Iran as a symbol of resilience and the gravitational center of Middle Eastern power. This land, once the heart of the Persian Empire, has now become the heart of modern geopolitics. Whenever the world looks at the Middle East, Iran is present, whether in conflicts, diplomacy, energy issues, or the moral discourse of the Islamic world. Iran continues to rise, not only as a nation, but as a multidimensional power that even superpowers must think twice before challenging. As explained, Iran's strength today cannot be separated from its historical turning point, particularly the Islamic Revolution of 1979. In a single mass movement led by Ayatollah Khomeini, the Shah's regime, backed by the West, was brought to its knees and overthrown. The Islamic Republic emerged not just as a political change, but as an ideological manifestation. Iran became a state that placed Islamic Sharia as the foundation of its laws, with a mission to build a new world order based on justice, sovereignty, and resistance against global arrogance, especially the United States and Israel. This revolution did not merely replace leaders. It forged a new machinery of power, a loyal military, a state-controlled economy, and deeply rooted ideology within society. From that moment, Iran rebuilt itself as an independent nation determined to stand on its own, even in global isolation. Shortly after the 1979 Islamic Revolution, Ayatollah Khomeini established the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC. Its purpose was to create a military and ideological force that would not only protect the revolution, but also serve as a pillar of power loyal to the concept of Wilayat al-Faqih, or clerical leadership. The IRGC was formed in parallel with the regular military, but with a deeper mandate: to protect the values of the revolution, eradicate foreign influence, and safeguard the Islamic political system from internal and external threats. In other words, the IRGC is not just an army. It is the guardian of ideology. The IRGC is not a single military body. It is an entity with various branches. Within it are the IRGC Ground Forces, a highly capable ground combat unit, the IRGC Navy, operating in the Persian Gulf and known for swarm tactics using fast boats, and the IRGC Aerospace Force, responsible for ballistic missile programs and air defense. Then there's the Quds Force, an elite unit handling overseas operations, including supporting militias in Iraq, Syria, Yemen, and Lebanon. Lastly, there's the Basij, a volunteer paramilitary force numbering in the millions, used for domestic security and enforcing ideology. This structure makes the IRGC resemble a state within a state, possessing its own military, ideological, and even economic power. Beyond its military role, the IRGC holds enormous economic influence. It controls hundreds of companies across sectors, such as oil, construction, logistics, technology, and finance. One of its economic arms, Khatam al-Anbiya, is the largest contractor in Iran, managing strategic projects from gas pipelines to water treatment plants. The IRGC also has special access to state foreign currency sources, including oil export revenues. Under international sanctions, many of Iran's covert export networks are managed by the IRGC, moving commodities through alternative routes from Southeast Asia to Venezuela. In essence, the IRGC is not just a military force. It is a business elite, a power broker, and the ruler of an underground economy. Politically, the IRGC wields immense influence. Many senior government officials come from IRGC ranks, and Iran's current president has an IRGC background. Even in Iran's elections, the IRGC indirectly determines who is allowed to run and who is disqualified. Additionally, the IRGC runs propaganda campaigns, ideological education in schools and universities, and media oversight. They ensure society remains loyal to the revolution while suppressing any potential uprisings. What makes Iran feared is not just the size of its army, but its missile arsenal. Iran is the only Middle Eastern country with a complete and tested ballistic missile system, ranging from short-range 300 to 1,000 kilometers, to medium-range 1,000 to 3,000 kilometers, and now even hypersonic missiles. Iran's missile program has grown under the shadow of sanctions and pressure, yet impressively, it has turned limitations into advantages. The Shahab-3 missile can reach up to 2,000 kilometers, enough to threaten Israel and American bases in the Gulf. Meanwhile, the Sejal and Khorramshahr missiles are solid-fuel, high-speed, maneuverable missiles designed to evade enemy defenses. Additionally, Iran has developed impressive non-conventional capabilities, particularly in cyber warfare. Special units like APD-33 and APD-35 have targeted strategic sites in the U.S., Israel, and Saudi Arabia. These attacks are not mere sabotage, but demonstrations that Iran can penetrate the digital walls of its enemies. Iran also masters electronic warfare, from jamming enemy drone signals to conducting intelligence operations in cyberspace. In modern warfare, these capabilities often matter more than the number of tanks or fighter jets. Iran is also known for its intelligent diplomacy and complex foreign maneuvers. Despite sanctions and isolation, Iran has never been completely sidelined. It has leveraged cracks in the multipolar world in order to build new alliances from Moscow and Beijing to Caracas and Islamabad. Iran's main diplomatic goal is not only to find allies, but to reshape the global power map, proving it is not an isolated state, but leader of a world that rejects Western dominance. Iran's two most important strategic partners are China and Russia. Both share open conflicts with the United States and a strong desire to build a multipolar world. With Russia, Iran cooperates in arms and defense technology sales, energy projects, civilian nuclear programs, and coordination on issues like Syria and the Caucasus. Russia sees Iran as a key partner to balance U.S. influence in the Middle East, while Iran provides logistical support for Russian operations in Syria. With China, ties have deepened since the signing of a 25-year strategic cooperation agreement in 2021. Under this deal, China invests over $400 billion in Iran's energy, infrastructure, and technology sectors, while Iran ensures a long-term supply of discounted oil to China, which also supports Iran in international forums. Within the Belt and Road Initiative, Iran serves as a critical link between Central Asia and the Middle East. Iran also builds strategic relations with Pakistan, despite the complex dynamics due to Pakistan's ties with Saudi Arabia and the U.S. In recent years, energy and security cooperation have grown, especially around tensions in the shared Baluchistan border. Post-U.S. withdrawal, Afghanistan has become an area of uncertainty. Iran maintains long-standing ties with the Shia Hazara groups and pragmatic contacts with the Taliban, reflecting its flexibility to engage even former ideological enemies for stability and geopolitical interests. With Central Asian countries like Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan, Iran cooperates in gas, electricity, and cultural projects, offering Chabahar Port as a maritime export gateway for landlocked nations. Iran has also expanded its presence in Latin America, particularly in Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Bolivia. In Venezuela, Iran aids in refinery construction, oil exports, and tanker exchanges as both face sanctions. In Africa, Iran actively engages through Islamic charities and educational organizations, especially in Shia areas like Nigeria, Sudan, and Tanzania, spreading ideological influence and soft diplomacy. Thus, despite often being sidelined in diplomatic forums, Iran finds space elsewhere to build narratives, shape global opinions, and craft survival strategies alongside similarly positioned nations. Iran is also known as an energy giant, holding about 13% of the world's crude oil reserves and around 17% of global natural gas reserves, making it the second largest gas holder after Russia and the fourth largest in oil. However, this wealth does not automatically translate to prosperity. Behind these vast resources lies a complex story of sanctions, sabotage, diplomacy, and infrastructure challenges. Iran sits in a paradox, possessing enormous energy while struggling to sell and manage it due to international sanctions and geopolitical pressures. Since the revolution, oil has been a tool of Iranian diplomacy. At times, Iran has threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz, a vital route for global oil exports. In response to Western pressure, Iran understands that oil and gas are not merely economic commodities, but strategic keys in the geopolitical game. During sanction-free periods, Iran's oil exports could reach 2.5 million barrels per day, but after U.S. sanctions returned post-2018 nuclear deal withdrawal, exports plummeted below 500,000 barrels per day. Iran lost billions in oil revenue. Its currency collapsed, inflation soared above 40%, and the people faced rising food prices, unemployment, and medicine shortages. Yet, under this pressure, Iran has built economic resilience. In response to the embargo, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, launched a resistant economy policy, aiming to create a self-reliant, locally oriented economy independent of Western trade. The strategy includes increasing domestic production, import substitution, focusing on strategic industries like petrochemicals, automotive, agriculture, and defense, and diversify export markets to Asia, Africa, and Latin America. The petrochemical sector, for example, has grown even as the oil sector is pressured, making Iran a major exporter of chemical products, plastics, and fertilizers to countries like India, Iraq, China, and Syria. Despite heavy pressures, Iran has fostered significant innovation. In the pharmaceutical sector, Iran produces over 95% of the medicines its people need. In the automotive sector, Iran is among the region's largest car producers, with local brands like Saipa. Its nuclear technology has advanced rapidly, with heavy water reactors operating in Iraq and uranium enrichment reaching over 60% near weapons-grade levels. Iran has also developed a national internet system and alternative platforms to Instagram, Telegram, and WhatsApp to protect information from foreign influence. Yet, Iranian civilians bear a heavy burden. Food prices have doubled within 2 years. Youth unemployment has risen sharply, and water and electricity crises have triggered protests. Despite this, Iranian society has a long history of resilience, seeking alternative incomes, creating informal markets, and continuing education and scientific research at top universities like Sharif University of Technology and the University of Tehran. A crucial point often overlooked is how Iran, under decades of economic and technological embargoes, has maintained and even advanced its higher education, scientific research, and modern technology sectors. Data from Scopus and Nature Index shows Iran leading the Middle East in scientific publications, with fields like nuclear physics, chemical engineering, nanotechnology, and medicine as research priorities. Iran's universities, such as Sharif University of Technology, University of Tehran, Isfahan University of Technology, and Amir Kabir University, are innovation hubs with thousands of engineers and scientists. Even under embargoes, Iranian students and professors have managed to build machines, sensors, and UAV control systems independently. Iran's higher education system is highly competitive, producing over 200,000 graduates annually, making it one of the largest sources of intellectual talent in the Muslim world. For Iran, science is part of its national identity, and scientific achievements are seen as victories against adversaries seeking to limit its growth. For Iran, science is resistance, and technology is a symbol of existence. Its nuclear program exemplifies scientific resilience under pressure. Since the 2000s, Iran has developed uranium enrichment facilities in Natanz, Fordow, and Iraq. While facing international condemnation and accusations of weapons ambitions, Iran insists the program is for energy and medicine. In practice, Iran enriches uranium to 60%, far above civilian needs but below the 90% weapons-grade threshold. These advancements alarm Western nations, with Iran paying a heavy price, including assassinations of its scientists, sabotage, cyber attacks like the Stuxnet virus, and mysterious explosions at its facilities. Yet every time it is struck, Iran rebuilds quickly, demonstrating a form of stubborn soft power. Iran has also become a pioneer in drone technology, producing various types, including reconnaissance and kamikaze drones used in conflicts, including by Russia and Ukraine. Its space program, though facing challenges, has launched small satellites into low Earth orbit and developed launch vehicles. Additionally, Iran has created domestic air defense missile systems, mini-submarines, advanced radar systems, and military communication technologies. All of this proves that isolation does not always lead to stagnation. Rather, within limitations, Iran finds a path to self-reliance and resilience. In a world defined by military dominance, economic power, and geopolitical alliances, Iran stands as an anomaly that is both confusing and inspiring. It is not a conventional superpower, yet possesses nearly all the attributes of a major state: a massive military force, deep regional influence, independent technological capacity, abundant energy resources, and active diplomacy. Remarkably, all of this has been developed under conditions that would cause many nations to collapse. Iran is not without flaws. It faces severe economic crises, political pressures, and public discontent that cannot be ignored. Yet, from a geopolitical perspective, Iran has proven one undeniable fact. It is a country that cannot be ignored,